My earliest memory, very early, first memory, was him taking his last breath in front of me. So
Wow.
that's what happens with trauma. You just kind of remember certain things, you know? And I remember like the red carpet at the funeral. I mean, those couple things. I know I battle with just like living in fear.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm 44. I hope to be 100 one day like everybody else, you know? But I don't want to be sick at 100, right? So like I want to live my fullest life wherever that is. So I was like, well, let's start supporting boys at age 10 and follow them all the way through. And it didn't have to be just sort of like the kids that were growing up in poverty, but it was kids that just didn't have dad around and needed that guidance. And so we started taking boys in and structuring SonOfASaint to where it is now. It's been going on 15 years. And it hasn't felt like not one day of work in 15 years. It's a lot of stresses and stuff, but it doesn't, you know what I mean? It's a passion. It's something I want to do.
Welcome back to another episode of the Last Zebra podcast. I'm your host, Ugo Ezema. As always, please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and comment. Today's guest is a dear friend now, basketball teammate in the league, Mr. Sonny Lee. Welcome to the show.
Oh, man. Thank you for having me. We got a game later on tonight,
we
too.
do, 8 p.m.
In a few hours.
Playoff game.
Playoff game. Those are always the best, you know?
Yeah, man. Yeah. I always start these with asking my guests, how would they introduce themselves? How would you introduce yourself? If you were to...
Hey, man, I got you. This is a guy, a naturally New Orleans boy from New Orleans who's very, very passionate about our future and our youth in the city.
You were born here?
I was born in Denver, Colorado. Don't tell anybody, though. I wasn't born in New Orleans, but I moved here when I was 2. My mom's from here. All I know is New Orleans, basically, as far as, you know, I mean, I've traveled all over, but I'm saying my early years. My dad was from Austin, Texas, and he played with the Saints and then went over and played with, he got traded to the Broncos back in the mid-'70s. And so him and mom stayed there. That's where my sister and I were born, but I don't tell anybody that. You got me.
You got exposed.
Yeah, I got exposed. I could have lied and just said, you know, I'm naturally New Orleans all the way through.
He got exposed 2 minutes in already.
2 minutes in. Let's go.
So born in Denver.
Yeah.
Do you have any? You obviously have no recollection of a time before.
No,
before
I have no recollection. No.
And your dad had already been traded by the time then.
Yeah. So he had been traded in I think 75, but he actually didn't play for the Broncos. He went there to training camp and he wound up getting hurt and retired. So he played 5 years in the NFL, and then. My sister was born in 79. I was born in 81. So we didn't really experience the football side of my dad. He passed away in 84. So, you know, it wasn't really there.
How old were you when?
I was 3 years old.
3. Wow.
Yeah.
Are you a junior?
I'm the third.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
I'm the third.
How about grandparents?
Grandparents here in New Orleans. My dad's mom and dad unfortunately passed way before I was born. So, yeah.
So basically your earliest childhood memories are here.
My earliest ones are here in New Orleans. Yeah.
What was that growing up like here in your formative years back then? I know a lot of people, for me, I moved here when I was in 2005. Moved here from Jamaica to Nicholls State for undergrad. And a lot of New Orleanians talk about New Orleans as if, you know, the way people say BC and AC. Yeah. They talk about it with context to Katrina. What was New Orleans like growing up when you were growing up? And do you find that there's a difference between the New Orleans of today and the New Orleans of your childhood?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I grew up, let's talk about household. I grew up with single mom, older sister. My mother had multiple sclerosis, so she didn't work. She took disability. She was working for NASA for a while and then just didn't work out. So, you know, I just knew mom at home and we grew up in a safe, loving environment. Education was preached. I went to church on Sundays, Catholic school. went to Saints games and all of that. Grandmother cooking great food and red beans on Monday, all that good stuff. Mardi Gras, a typical sort of New Orleans, I guess, environment. And, for me, it was great. I grew up in New Orleans East, right around Reed Bullard area. And we didn't go uptown a lot. My mom didn't bring us to see all the big houses uptown. I really didn't experience that really until probably late in high school, right? And so we'd still go to Mardi Gras stuff, but it wouldn't be like the uptown, big homes type. We didn't go that far down, you know what I mean? Or uptown. So it was great. I would say, a lot of people talk about sort of the crime in New Orleans. I didn't really realize it until I was probably in high school, where I realized that we had a major crime problem. Now, this is like mid-90s.
Yeah.
And it was hot. It was a hot city. And I do remember that. I remember there was a bank not too far from where we lived. And I distinctly remember driving around the bank. I don't know why. And I just remember the city was so like literally hot summer. But I remember there was all this talk about the violence in New Orleans. And for some reason, that bank is a symbol for me because I remember thinking about this or just becoming aware of it at that time. And it was scary, right? Even though I wasn't around it, you sort of thought maybe it could hit me in some ways, right? Like maybe the violence would. The closest I got, I guess, was there was a barbershop on Dowman Street. I used to get my hair cut. And, that was where you sort of heard all of the conversations and talks. And I remember one time there was a commotion outside, I guess, and like everybody, I felt like it was like a drive-by, something like that. Like everybody just kind of dispersed. And I heard like shots and stuff like that. But that was really the first time that I had really experienced, I guess, violence in that way. But I think that's fortunate because I don't think that was necessarily everybody's experience, obviously. But I think for me, it was where I started to realize that there was differences, maybe how I grew up and maybe some, other folks in the community. And so, yeah, I mean, Katrina hit when I was in college. I was finishing my last semester in college. And I remember I took my mom, my grandmother, and my aunt. We all went to Baton Rouge. We stayed with some family members out there. I enlisted at LSU, which was my last semester, which was insane. I mean, everybody trying to get their courses and trying to find places to live was pretty hectic. And then did that for a couple months because that it was just difficult to really. It was supposed to be my last semester, but it was just too difficult. I didn't take the classes I needed to. Came back to New Orleans, got a place here, and graduated from UNO where I was going during Katrina. For me, I don't see it as post-Katrina, pre-Katrina. I just, because so much of my life and so much of the great experiences was as an adolescent, I just see it as that time of, teenage years, adolescent years. I don't really see it as like we're pre or post. I do understand that though, obviously, right? And a lot of folks, I think, moved to New Orleans after they may have taken advantage of some opportunities that the city had to offer, whether it be developments or things like that. And so now it's hard to, I guess, connect with people because they don't have the same reference as New Orleans. So it's really hard. So when you do find somebody that is, you latch on to them. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, oh, are you from New Orleans? You know what I mean? And you grew up here. So yeah, that's it. Yeah. So how was it for you going, I guess you going to Nichols, right?
Yeah.
But when did you come to New Orleans? When did you move here?
So I moved to Nichols in 2005, the August before Katrina.
Okay.
So I was here just a few weeks, maybe a month and some change before Katrina came. And I remember we got picked up from the airport the old New Orleans airport.
Yeah. Louis Armstrong.
Armstrong
Airport.
Yeah.
Well, still Louis Armstrong.
It's
But
still
you know
Louis
what I'm talking
Armstrong.
about.
But you know what it is.
I know what you're on, yeah.
And the drive from Louis Armstrong to Thibodaux, Louisiana was one of the strangest drives to me, because coming from Jamaica, at first I was just, you think you have a vision of what the United States is like, but then the drive is all country.
Right.
Right. You're just like, wait.
This doesn't add up.
Something's afoot. Yeah. Something is mixed up. So I didn't really get any frame of reference of what New Orleans was like pre-Katrina. The only reference I had was after Katrina, and that's the only thing that anchors me to my perception of New Orleans.
Right.
And after Katrina, a lot of people, kind of like how you went to Baton Rouge, a lot of people from the different schools in New Orleans were finishing up their courses at Nichols.
Right.
So I got to meet a wide array of New Orleanians, but they were all kind of going through the same thing at the same time. And it to be honest with you, I think that gave me an emotional attachment to this city because you saw people suffering in a very real way, displaced in a very real way. I mean, it's one thing where you move by choice. It's another thing where
you're forced.
You're forced out, and not just forced out. What you left is no longer there even.
How was the community there at Nichols for New Orleans? Like outside of your own direct circle, how was the community there?
It was very welcoming. That was my first understanding of Southern hospitality. It really was. Yeah. I mean, Nichols at large took in the students, and maybe I can't say I will readily admit that my worldview is largely optimistic, and that can give me blinders or to things that might otherwise be obvious to somebody else. But the impression I had was Nichols, Thibodaux, the community at large took in all these people. And I would go so far as to say they felt welcome. They felt appreciated, they felt like, somebody was there to help them through this process.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Some people picked up right where they were at, and some people actually just moved there and stayed in Thibodaux.
Of course, yeah.
And a few people
probably still there. Who
knows?
Right,
exactly. And some people just switched their schools completely. Even when New Orleans came back up, they just stayed at Nichols the entire time and finished out their schooling. Some of my dearest friends are people that I would have not met had it not have been for Katrina.
So your family back home in Jamaica, right? What did they think? I mean, when that happened,
so it's a strange thing because hurricanes are very, very common here, but also very common in Jamaica. And our reactions to hurricane are probably a little bit more relaxed.
Right.
We do have every 25 years or so, we'll have a really bad one. But for the most part, the shake back is a lot quicker relative to what it felt like what happened here.
Yes, for sure. I mean, that was even rare for us, right?
Yeah,
I mean, just
absolutely.
the post.
Absolutely. And also, I think the degree of destruction is less so in Jamaica, probably because of the way we build our homes. We don't build with like wood the way y'all build here. Yeah. It's mostly concrete or cement. And so the degree of destruction is probably less so. And so we're able to kind of weather the storm, if you will, I feel like. And we're not as... I remember being outside, because we all had to shelter in the auditorium. I remember being outside and everybody was like, yo, you got to be inside. This is a category 4. I was like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
More relaxed, chill.
Yeah. I was just like, it's a hurricane. I mean, you guys have hurricanes.
We have, yeah. Exactly. Locals, a lot of us, we think the same way. Like, it's not a category 4, 5. Even if it's a 5, it's like, all right, we know we're going to have to bunker down.
Yeah.
Well, here, the electricity may go out. So, you worry about that more than anything, but yeah.
What was, I'm curious to know, having lost your father at such a young age, often people still talk about how their father still had a presence in their life, even though they weren't there. Did you have that same appreciation for him?
So my earliest memory, very early, first memory was him taking his last breath in front of me. So,
wow.
And I think that's what happens with trauma. You just kind of remember certain things, you know? And I remember like the red carpet at the funeral. I mean, those couple of things. But, he was a NFL player. So there was something special about him physically, or just being able, his ability, I guess, that ran through our family, right? As far as like just sort of larger than 6'3", 200 and something pounds, lightning speed, all of that. So he's kind of like a superhero in a way, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
For me. But I knew that there was a lot of sorrow there for my mother who to this day, over 40 years later, still loves my dad the day she first met him and married him. So there was never anything negative told about him. Like he wasn't human, right? I know he wasn't perfect, right? But it was always, oh, your father did this. Oh, always. So, his presence was there. Although I didn't have many photos of him. I had some of him playing, but I didn't have a lot of us together, But yeah, I mean, it's interesting because I always think if he was with me and I lost him at 11 or 12 or older, what that would have been like. Would have had more of a sense of loss, I guess. I don't know, obviously, but I do know that during my adolescent years, I did miss him. Now it's lost probably in a different way, but I did miss him. When you're growing up and you're growing into your body, you're growing into your interest and girls, and trying to be cool and trying to, your body's changing everything. Those are the times where I felt like I needed him the most. And you want your dad at your games when you're playing ball. I didn't have that. Right. I had an uncle that was my mom's brother who was there for me, but he was working a lot. So I did miss that. And I think I believe what some people do is they create this super person, right? Based off of different people in their lives, some good, some bad, right? I mean, for me, I had a lot of positive male role models. So I took from Coach Rudy, I took from Uncle Warren, I took from all these different people. And once I got into college or, even in high school, it's like, what would this person do? Right. And so that's even to this day, when I think about making a decision, I think about those people. I was the other day, I was like, oh man, should I wear a tie to this event? And I just know my uncle in my head saying, wear a tie, always overdressed. And if you got you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's what I do to this day. So that was my sort of experience.
I have in my own mind a group of people that are basically my council of wisdom.
Right.
You have their voices kind of guiding you. So I share that experience as well.
What was your family upbringing like?
So born and raised in Nigeria. We moved to Jamaica when I was 8. So in 1996, we moved to Jamaica. And my dad is a pharmacist. My mom is a doctor. I'm the oldest of 5.
So if you didn't become a doctor, something was wrong, right?
So, as the first one, I had to.
Oh man, you had to. Yeah, of course.
My brothers and my sister, they get
passes.
They benefit from my sacrifice, but we don't talk about that. But
no, it's all good.
But I'm grateful. I'm grateful to my parents. The cliche about immigrant families. If you're not a lawyer, doctor, engineer, that kind of thing, you get that sense, but I think in hindsight, there's some validity in kind of pushing your kids to be something that way. Now, I think in the modern world, there are different ways that you can support your family and still feel fulfilled. And I think that's where the concern is basically making sure that you can support your family and community at large. And those jobs tend to provide a lot more security. And I think that's where that's coming from. But I grew up it's a big family. I come from a huge extended family back home in Nigeria. And even at large, all the uncles and aunts, like immigrants tend to have aunts that aren't blood, uncles that aren't blood, but that's your
oh yeah,
that's your people.
Yeah, that's your folks.
Yeah, that's your people. So all those people, we were always surrounded by tremendous community and tremendous love. And I've been really fortunate to cultivate the same thing for my kids here in New Orleans.
Nice.
So we have some really fantastic friends that I owe to the community. You know a few of them, Akeem, Kev.
So a couple things. One, your parents still with us?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just asked you.
Yeah,
no,
that's a fair
never
question.
know.
Yeah.
And then one of my best friends, he's like a big brother to me. His name is Ola Edeboye. So
he's Yoruba?
Yeah, exactly. I asked him what I would be.
Yeah.
But no, he's I might have asked you that, right?
Yeah.
What tribe I'd be, but I sensed that from you because when you said Jamaica, I got it, but I was like, nah, something else. Something's off here.
Yeah.
And so no, that's cool. And I think a third thing is they says something about you to be able to attract or even seek those people who are good people around you, right? And I guess that comes from your own family, your own experience, your father, your uncles, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think it's important. Kids emulate, well, people in general will emulate or seek out that which has brought them the highest degree of safety and comfort. I am of the belief that the greatest privilege of all is the privilege of family. And family could mean anything. What family implies, so family it also includes friends, but what it implies is an unconditional safety net of you can always come back here.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And that is the greatest privilege of all. When you have that in the back of your mind, and I think what holds us back often is the fear of failure. But when you have that in the back of your mind, failure isn't so much a setback. It's more of but I'll bounce back, right? Yeah. I think having that setup is such a crucial component, especially for young kids.
Yep.
One of my favorite quotes, and it's from Chimamanda Ngozi. I said it a few podcasts ago, where she mentioned she was in a podcast with Trevor Noah.
Yep. And
she was talking about how, or he had asked her, how does she deal with the haters? Essentially,
ask me that. No.
I'm gonna ask you. How does she deal with the haters? And she said, essentially, and I'm paraphrasing, I'm loved.
Right.
So I don't go into the world seeking love.
Yeah. It's beautiful.
Right?
It's beautiful. Just got chills. Seriously. Yeah. I mean, it's real.
I'm loved where I'm from. I don't go into the world looking and seeking. I don't need your love.
Affirmation or your validation. Yeah, exactly.
I don't need that.
And that's what we need to do. That's what I try to do with my son. With my sons now. I got a 4-month-old, but with Tenzin, he's 11, and it's kind of the same thing. You show him all the love I can possibly give him, and I'm going to be here. But, you also have to hold him accountable and, do all that. But look, and we do it for a lot of our boys, even in the work that we do. So, no, I definitely, I love that. Yeah, I mean, it's great.
And kids are, I think one of the lessons that I'm learning being a father, I'm a father of 2.
How old?
5 and 3. My daughter is 5.
Gotcha.
And my son is 3. Is often in the moment, the kind thing may seem cruel, but it's actually the kind thing in the long run.
Absolutely.
Right? So you can be strict in the moment because it's the kindest thing you can do for them in the future.
Yeah, you're teaching them. You're molding them.
Exactly.
And the saying is, it's better for you to get it at home than out in the streets.
Absolutely. Right? And the world is a wild, wild place, man. You have to be ready for it. And I think coming from a house that strengthens you, but but emboldens you so that you can, when you go out there, you're not really fazed by how crazy things can be or how crazy things can be to you. You just keep on pushing.
Keep pushing, man.
That's right. What was the first thing you wanted to be, like growing up?
Veterinarian.
Really?
Yeah, believe it or not, man. I worked at the place called Magnolia Pet Hospital when I was 14 and volunteered. I did so many volunteer hours. I mean, they definitely got a lot out of me, man. They should have been paying me. But they had a dog named Tank. It was a Rottweiler. The owner did. And one day he just went off on like another dog, and I said, Tank did. I was like, no, I'm good. I think everybody there was terrified because he got loose and he was just going, it was just terrible. But, you know, I just, that was my first thing, was probably that. Yeah. What about you?
Pilot.
Really?
I wanted to be a pilot.
Are you
interested?
Yeah.
100%. Gotcha. I did my discovery flight the other day at Lakeside.
You know a guy named Charles?
I don't know.
Charles, he's a friend of mine. He's over there. He's a pilot. He's black guy. Yeah, for sure.
I need to meet him.
Yeah, for sure.
I'd love to meet him. Another friend of mine is also interested in it and has started the process. Mm-hmm. So it's always been my dream. I did the discovery flight and I felt like a kid again, man. Like I legitimately felt like a little boy. I was giddy inside. It was. I can't tell the last time I was that excited about something not related to like family love. You know what I'm saying? Like your child or you know, getting married, but like something outside of that. It was.
So now you got to chase that feeling, right?
Yeah, well, of course. But you know, I have to have that conversation with the missus about, you know.
Yeah. See me, I would forget something. I have bad memories, so I'll forget. I don't trust myself up there trying to fly. Be like, yeah, you forgot something. Oh, my bad. I forgot to gas it up all the way. I don't know. I mean, like something crazy.
You'd be scared that something wild would
happen. Man, yeah, I couldn't. I have so much stuff on my mind. I wouldn't.
And I can't lie to you. Every year that I get close to doing it, you hear about some kind of accident that happens, and you're like, Like literally every year, something happens in the news, in the world, about a plane crash or something like that. And that always like plays in my mind, obviously.
Yeah, it's hard to, I know, I battle with that, just like living in fear.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm 44. I hope to be 100 one day like everybody else, you know? But I don't want to be sick at 100, right? So like I want to live my fullest life wherever that is. Mm-hmm. We know what the numbers are. Mm-hmm. You know what the numbers are, mm-hmm. You know, specifically. And I'm like, man, it's just short.
It's very,
you know, how many summers, I mean, you know, and so I think about that probably right now more than this. Maybe I'm going through a midlife crisis. I'm like, man, let's go for it. You know, I mean, you're a little younger than me, probably. So,
37.
37. It's not that, yeah. But I do think about it. It's kind of like, let's go for it. So I am doing some things that I probably wouldn't have done. I could, in the past, believe it or not, I probably shied away from a lot of things, you know.
What have you been getting into? That's relatively
well, new. One specifically is I went up with the Blue Angels.
Oh, the crazy flying.
Yes.
You flew in the plane with them?
This was a few years ago. Yeah, I literally flew in the plane. They go to cities and do these shows. Yeah. And they select usually 3 people to go up with them.
Wow.
And 1 or 2 of them are like news folks, and another one's like from the community or nonprofits. And so I got selected. I've never been on a roller coaster in my life, ever.
And that's how you...
And that's how, yes. Because I'm like, why not? Why not? Well, they called me and I said yes. And I was like, well, I'll deal with it on the back end, right? Like they're like, oh, it's in 2 months.
Yeah.
It's like, man, I'll get the courage in 2 months, you know what I mean? And we went out about 60 miles. We did a lot of the tricks. Yeah. We did it like medium, not full. And then once on our way back, he kind of turned it up, you know, and we did like 8 Gs or something. Like he had a G suit on, the pilot. No, I'm sorry. The pilot did not have a G suit on. I had one on, but I was like, look, I said, how much did you do in the past, and he told me, he was like, "Oh, I did around 8." I said, "Well, don't go past that because I don't need you blacking out."
Yeah, we don't.
Right?
We don't need that.
We all gonna go out.
Yeah.
So it was great. It was the most amazing thing. I wish I would have done the entire thing at full speed. You know, now we did the takeoff at full speed and all that, but just maybe some of the tricks. But still, it's one of the most memorable things I've done. And I had those conversations. Should I do this? You know, got a son, all that. But, you know, I pushed the limit.
I love that. I love that for you. I really do. I think I try to equate myself as a man of as a man of action, like, and just endeavor and adventure. But there are things that I know I'm probably not going to do.
Like what?
Like I'm not going to bungee jump.
Yeah.
I'll probably draw the line on that one.
Yeah. Same here.
Like, but oddly enough, I would jump out of a plane. I would parachute out of a plane.
Yeah.
There's something different about the two.
My wife did. My wife jumped out of a plane, but it was her personality. She's adventurous. I don't know why she got with me, but yeah, she's still here. I'll say the reason I did the Blue Angels is because I had that much confidence in the pilot. You know, jumping out of or bungee jumping in a rope or just jumping out of I don't know. It's a little different. You know, if I'm with like some troopers, like army, maybe that's, you know, attached.
The military.
Yeah, that might be a little different. You know, some SEALs or something. I don't know. But I don't know. Going to, you know, Costa Rica and just going and jumping off. That's not me.
I would do it because the one I would really want to do is the one, have you seen the Mission Impossible series?
Yes.
There's one of them that he does the halo jump. Have you heard about that?
Yeah.
Because I would 100% do a halo jump.
Wow. Okay.
I would 100% do a halo jump.
Right.
But
let's sign you up. I mean, what's stopping you, man?
if I could have any superpower, it would be to fly. And going back to wanting to be a pilot, going back to like, I've always been attracted to the sky. To this day, if a plane flies over, I just marvel at it.
Do you have my son and I have an app where we look at we can see all the planes, you know, it's the tracker.
Yeah, I do.
In the backyard, we'll sit and just see all the planes, helicopters, things like that. So I'm glad, you do that too.
Yeah. I have the tracker for the plane flights and all that stuff.
Yep.
I'm sure I have a plane. See, I have a plane right there in the back right there. Yeah. But planes are one of, to me, literally a metal bird just floating in the sky.
So let's put this on steroids. What about space exploration?
100%. 1,000%.
SpaceX, yeah.
1,000%.
Gotcha.
I would be there in a hurry.
So
if I could ensure, and obviously that's not something you can do.
But you'll come back.
If I could ensure, you hop in the car, you go to Rousey's, you come back. If space travel was that sure, I'm there.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's the confidence in who's doing it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean.
I'd be there. I'd be there in a hurry. I sign me up.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I'm a sign up first kind of guy though.
That in most things?
In most things. Wow. I'm about it.
Gotcha.
I'm about it.
Okay.
I think what holds me, like what really grounds me is obviously I have a wife and kid that, you have an indebted responsibility to be here for to the best of your ability. I tell my wife all the time, my primary goal when I leave the house is to come back home.
There you go.
It's my only goal.
Yeah.
And when I leave the house, I intend on coming back home to you guys. So that being like something, it frames the way I approach the world. Like you're not gonna find me getting upset too much. Because I need to go home. I try not to get into arguments because I got to go home. Yeah. So
you take it out on the basketball court, right?
I mean, basketball is supposed to be a safe space. I just saw a TikTok video about how those pickup games are sort of therapy sessions for men, where you can just kind of.
Oh, for me it is 100%.
Unwind and we all understand that this is not serious. I'm upset at you right now, but once we sit down, we're fine.
I tell my wife, like, if I miss a Saturday or Sunday, that means something to me, right? I mean, that's my moment where I can just be and let it out and, have that brotherly connection. So it's very important.
It's important. Yeah. It's important. So after Tank scared you out of veterinarian school, what were your plans? And how old were you at this time?
I was like 14, 15. So this was
not even before college.
Yeah, this was before college. let me see, in high school, I didn't really know. For a moment, it was like, sports was a thing. And, because my dad had played, there was a lot of pressure on me. I wasn't this big at all in high school. And I wound up getting hurt. And then like freshman year, and I didn't really
feel it.
Yeah, man. I wound up, believe it or not, playing tennis because it was to kind of like rehab and things like that. And I just found that I enjoyed it. And football, I just really, if my dad didn't want me to play football, by the way. So he always told my mom, I don't want him to play because of the injuries, race relations, like all that. Like he was a All-American quarterback at Prairie View, but he converted to defensive back to get drafted in the NFL.
Wow.
So he wasn't playing this position, even though he did well at it, but still, And so my mom never pushed me to play football. It was everything else. It was baseball. It was everything else. And so in high school, I just got a girlfriend, played tennis. I was really good at it. And I play to this day once, twice a week. But I mean, it's that when we're talking about career for a second early on, I was like, man, what can I do with my athletic ability?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I didn't really have that push. It kind of got, and in high school, you only have 2, 3, 4 years. Like it's not a long time.
Right.
You got to make a move. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
you got to commit.
Yeah, you got to commit, you know, and once I found the girlfriend and then it was all downhill from there. And so let's say like college.
What did you go into college for?
I went to college. I actually finished in marketing and management. I went in, I thought I was going to be a psychiatrist.
Really? So a doctor?
Because I've seen psychologists growing up, from when I was age 6 and up. And I know I didn't want to just like sit there and talk to somebody all day. You know what I mean? So I thought maybe I could help them in a different way. So that was a thought. I went to some classes. It didn't really connect with me. Because I was just like, I was in it. This actually, the work I'm doing now is kind of the perfect balance, actually.
I was about to say there's an element of,
there is an element.
Psychology and sociology
for sure
ingrained into what you're doing right now.
For sure. So I was in school and I was like, oh, well, I enjoyed the marketing side of things, partnerships and how brands put things together. So that's really what I finished in.
How then were you able to put it all together into SonOfASaint? And first of all, the name is so apropos. Obviously double, triple entendres in there.
Yep.
Tell me about how that came to be, the inspiration behind it, and having this conversation that we're having, I'm putting so much together as to how someone like you could have obviously put this organization together.
Yeah, so I would say I had my own challenges, and while I was in college, I had my own challenges. Sat out a couple years. I had a lot of anxiety. It was just a rough 2 years of my life. Got over that, and then I was playing basketball actually, and I tell this story people know about. I was playing basketball at University of New Orleans where I was going to school, and the opposing team, one of the guys on the team came up to me afterwards and he was like, man, if you work as hard as you play, I want you on my team. And this was back when I was like Dennis Rodman, getting all the rebounds, you know what I mean? Like bullying people, kind of like you play now, But, and I went on an internship. He was the head of New Orleans Zephyrs baseball team. And so I went there and got an internship and a job. That's what kind of got me into sports. So I was with the Zephyrs and then for a couple seasons, and then went over and worked in the NFL for 3 years. And that was a lot of travel. That was these high level relationships. I was being trusted. It was really awesome. And then I got into jazz. So I started helping to bring jazz education to communities across the globe, really. So I was traveling everywhere, Switzerland.
Were you playing yourself?
I wasn't playing. No, it was part of the New Orleans Jazz Institute. So I was heading the director of programs for them. So it was, we had Saturday music school teaching kids how to play. It was commissioning musicians. When the orchestra would travel all over the world, it was bringing jazz education to those communities. So, Brazil and everywhere. I mean, it was all over. So for me, the travel component in my 20s was on another level, like all, and I wanted every boy from New Orleans to see that and be a part of it, And so when I was 29, started SonOfASaint, literally for that reason, because I wanted boys to see the world outside of their own city,
right.
And there was connected to the fatherlessness and what our sort of identity is around is because obviously I grew up like that, but there was a boy that had murdered another boy. And I saw it on NOLA.com and did some research. They both lost their fathers to violence. And I was like, man, how did we, maybe if they grew up like me, and I say this at the time, like maybe if they had the love poured into them like I did, not to say they didn't have love poured into them, but just, some of the similar structures that I had, maybe this wouldn't have happened. And so I was like, well, let's start supporting boys at age 10 and follow them all the way through. And it didn't have to be just sort of like the kids that were growing up in poverty, but it was kids that just didn't have dad around and needed that guidance. Right. And so we started taking boys in and structuring SonOfASaint to where it is now. It's been going on 15 years. And it hasn't felt like not one day of work in 15 years. It's a lot of stresses and stuff, but it doesn't, it's a passion. It's something I want to do.
What would you say are the core values for SonOfASaint?
Well, I think one definitely is integrity. I mean, like that's kind of across the board,
right?
Like you got to have that to be in our family at SonOfASaint. And it's not always easy, right? Like it's, it's not to say that if you falter that we don't, you know what I mean? It's not, we can talk through or something like that, but it's something that people can definitely get over things if you're honest and truthful with them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And we try to have that as that's a more compass involved in that anyway. So I say that's one. Definitely accountability is another thing. Like we talk about with our own kids, right? Holding them accountable for things. And, I think one of the biggest things is just commitment all the way through. Like if you're going to commit to something, we hold you to that. But also we want to instill in the boys that sense of commitment. Right. You know what I mean? Because we're committed to them from as long as they're in the program. It's not something where we kick people out of the program. So that people say, how many boys didn't make it or how many? It's like, no, once you're in, you're in.
Yeah.
We're going to deal with all the good, bad, ugly, beautiful things that come along in this journey. We might have a boy that has fell off for a couple of years, but then comes back and nice with us for 6 more years. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't go away. The relationships stay the same.
Do you remember a particular story that along the way you were like, yeah, this is the reason I'm doing it? Like the first time you got that sense of this is worth it. Do you remember when along that journey, I'm sure in the beginning.
I have so many stories. That's
I
all
can
I'm
imagine.
to,
I can imagine.
That and that are currently happening right now, that things. But the first time, I'm trying to think, probably one of my first boys, Quentin, his dad left him. Most of our boys, their fathers were lost to violence and long-term incarceration. But this particular boy was actually my first one. He remembers his dad leaving him in his truck, right? Like he remembers he was like 4 or something and his dad like left in the truck and that's all he remembers of his dad, right? And I remember his reflection telling me that early on. So he was 9 when he joined, actually. Because at the time we were taking kids at 9. But his anger towards his dad at 10 or 11, it was in your face, right? Like his anger towards his dad, his anger to other people. He had this problem. And I just remember him saying, like, without Son of a Saint, he wouldn't be where he is. You know what I mean? And those moments mean the world to me. You know, getting a letter or a note. I got, it's Father's Day yesterday, so I got a lot of different messages, but every one of them means the world, because I know where the boys are. I know their stories. We don't tell their stories really for the public. The public doesn't know our boys' story. Every one of them. They see them, they're smiling and got a nice haircut, but they have no clue.
Right.
That's part of our problem. It's hard for us to tell us stories, right? They don't know.
Right.
They just see boys doing activities.
Right.
And I would say right now what's going on is one of our boys, we hired him because I know what type of kid he is, and because of some stuff in the past, he's not able to get a job anywhere else, right? I know all this crap. So he can't, I've been through it with him. So, I know what I'm getting.
Right.
But for us, we're all he has. We're family. And I have to treat him like that, right? Because I committed to him in that way. And so that's just, I know you asked for the first time, but it's so many things that happen every single day. It's continuous. Yeah.
What would you say has been kind of the most profound growth that you've experienced in your own self, having gone through all of this? Because this SonOfASaint precedes even your son, right? So
it does. 3 years.
Yeah. So
that was a rough time too. When he was 2014, we started 2011.
Yeah.
We didn't have money. I was picking up all the boys all over town. It was stress on me. And one thing I know is that it's all going to work out. I think that's pretty much the theme of SonOfASaint. Like my own growth, it's all going to work out.
We're going to figure it out.
We're going to figure it out. I think is what it is. Being resilient, but just knowing that you might have to adjust expectations. It might not happen now, but it'll happen in a different way in a year or two, and you'll look back and go, okay, I see why that didn't happen. This is better, Yeah.
What is the general way of supporting these kids? I can't imagine that there's some kind of systems. I think the way I've always thought about how you guys operate was you kind of meet each boy where they're at, and then see how you can support. What does that look like in a very general way? Yeah,
we do have a guide. We do have a logic model that we go by. So when boys enter the program at age 10, they're part of a case team, and so there's a case manager up top, right? And there's an education coordinator part of that team, a mental health specialist, a mentor, a male mentor, and roughly about 40 activities a month that the boy can choose from, depending on their age. Yeah. So they range from equine therapy to cooking to podcasts and music, sports and rec, STEM. Fishing. All that's available to them. Some are mentor-led, some are mostly staff-led, actually, a lot of them. But there's an interest for every kid. And there's an opportunity for them. If they don't have a mentor at that time, early on when they get on, they'll find that mentor through those activities. And that's just sort of like, we have to have some sort of structure. Right? So that our logic model is sort of the guide. And when we're explaining it, we sort of list it all out. There's a lot of logistical things that go into it, because we have boys in 90 different schools, 24 different zip codes. Transportation can be a nightmare. So we have drivers, we have vehicles. The infrastructure is there. We have accountants, we have, HR, we have all that stuff we had to build over the years. It wasn't always like that. like in the early, we're a one-stop shop now. We have our own building and all that. Where it was before is if a boy needed mental health service, we would partner with an outside agency, right? If they needed tutoring, it'd be an outside agency. So what would happen is the team of people aren't talking. So if something's going on at school, mental health person isn't telling the school or the tutor why they're doing bad, or you know what I'm saying? Or helping them deal with their crisis situations right then as that happens. And as we got more resources, we were able to sort of eliminate all the challenges, or most of the challenges, to ensure success of not only our boys, but the outcomes of our staff, their sanity, my sanity, right? And a lot of activations of the programs that we put together.
I imagine it's basically like kind of leaning it out and eliminating variables that were making it more difficult,
right,
to kind of execute on the big picture.
We were doing for ourselves what we actually were doing for the boys, right? You know what I'm saying? Like as an organization, eliminating those like factors that prevented us from growth.
Big picture wise, looking forward into the future, what does SonOfASaint look like? Let's say 10 years from now, 20 years from now. What's your dream of what it would look like? Because it's probably where you thought it would be at the beginning, or it might be a little different because that's the way life is. Life, you know, takes you on these kind of tangential runs. But
right,
if you could, you know, put it all out there and it all happens the way you want it to,
I would say the first thing would be that we're self-sufficient. You know, as a nonprofit, we rely on funding. Right. So we're donors and everything. So for us is that our endowment is large enough to where it sustains us, right? So that any boy, you say 10, 20 years, 40, 50, 100 years from now, if they're in those situations that our boys are in, they have a place to call home, right? They have a place so that's like the first thing, I think, for me. I also think that we continue to grow in New Orleans and providing that sort of service. At some point, I'm hoping that we're effective and that there's less need for us, right? Like in the long run, obviously that's what we'd want, right? I'd also say outside New Orleans, other groups, which happens now because a lot of folks come from across the country to learn our model, but we're able to teach it to other folks. And where folks largely understand prevention and long-term support versus just being reactive, right? In the space of supporting specifically boys that we have. So, you know, we're looked at as a top thought leader in this space, which I think we are now in that, but like really well known, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Right.
To say like, okay, we have all these things. We really need to focus on these boys at prevention long-term in a holistic way. Is probably really my goal.
How was being a dad? I know. Well, first of all, if it was in the infancy when your first one was, then I know you're just based off of all the stuff that you highlighted, contributed to those challenges. How was being a dad the very first time? What was that like for you, knowing how much it meant
to be a father, right?
To be a father.
Yeah, it was great. When I found out I was having a boy, my head hit the ceiling. I mean, I was, you know, very, very happy. And one thing that was great is that my boys could see me being a father to my own, right? The SonOfASaint boys, I should say. So I say my boys, I preface that, my SonOfASaint boys, they saw how I acted with him, you know? And
you're leading the life that you've been
leading your life, exactly. Showing love and care, but like I said, it was a challenge, major challenge during that time, being young and not having the resources that we have now, and having to be. I mean, it was rough, to be honest with you, but we got out of it. We survived it.
We're gonna make it.
We gonna make it, right? But yeah, I mean, it's the greatest blessing ever, you know, and my son feels that he's going to be the next CEO of SonOfASaint. So
he's got to earn that. Huh?
if he wants to become CEO junior right now, if he wants it, he doesn't have to. But tell you what, the things that he enjoys the most is the community service aspect of SonOfASaint. When we're out there doing community service, he enjoys that the most.
And that's what he grew up in.
That's what he grew up in. Yeah.
That's beautiful.
He's got a huge heart. So I'm glad, we molded him like that, and kudos to him. Now I've got another one. We've got a 4-month-old, which is another blessing as well.
How is this different?
This is much different. I have so much more time and patience with little Biv, what we call him.
Yeah.
So much stuff because I'm available. Like, we have a team now. So I don't have to answer every single call. I don't have to, fix every single problem. I can be present for him, and so it's much different.
Yeah.
Much different. I'm older too. It's a different experience altogether. But I also have a lot of help from his older brother, Tenzin, who's 11.
Yeah.
So I've got a lot more eyes and hands there than just me. So actually I had a lunch early and Tenzin was watching him with my assistant. They were watching the baby, and I trust him, and he's doing a great job. Not to put a whole lot of pressure on him. But, he's a caregiver. He's definitely a caregiver.
I love that. If you could go back in time and talk to your younger self, roughly right around UNO, thereabouts, what words of advice and or encouragement would you tell to yourself other than it's going to be all right?
It's going to be all right. Ooh. Really focus on relationships with people. I think I did that to some extent, but I really didn't understand that until I was kind of forced into SonOfASaint and really understanding relationships with people, and not everybody live like me. Obviously, not everybody's they're gonna see things different. But when I was in my 20s, it's not that I kept cards of everybody I met. I mean, there was a lot of cards, business cards, a lot of this networking things. And when I started SonOfASaint, I kind of was starting from scratch. I didn't have anything at that time that I kind of kept on with. Because when I was working in jazz, not like I was like, oh, I'm going to keep your business card because now I'm going to do SonOfASaint. And I'm, I guess what I'm trying to say is form relationships with people in a genuine way. And you never know how the mutual relationship could benefit each other long term. It's kind of a simple concept,
Yeah.
But at the time, I just didn't do that. It was more, okay, I see you now. Cool. What can you do for me? Exchange, more transactional. And yeah, I just.
Are you much more intentional about your relationships?
Yeah, much more. I mean, also my circles got a lot smaller.
Right. As you get older.
As you get older, that naturally happens, right?
Yeah.
But also, not every relationship is meant to be the closest relationship.
Right.
I mean, but if you have good people, you try to be a good person to them, good people that like reciprocate it.
I wanted to circle back to football. I know your dad had mentioned that he didn't want you to play.
Right.
Are you still like a football fan, Saints, et cetera, et cetera? And
yeah, I'm a fan of sports in general.
Right.
But with my own son, I don't force him to play football. He's a soccer kid.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, he's a soccer guy. Track. He's super fast.
Does he have a team?
Yeah, he plays. He is on the team at 18th Ward. He plays on that team. What's your team name, Tenzin? No, the team. Okay, well, he
doesn't know.
Yeah, he doesn't even know.
Does he have a soccer team he follows? We're looking at him right now.
Yeah.
You should follow Liverpool. That's my team.
Yeah, there you go.
I've been trying to get people to fall in love with my soccer team, which is Liverpool. We just won the league in the Premier League. Yeah.
My first soccer game and last soccer game was Chelsea versus Roma.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That was in
How long
in
ago
London.
was that?
That was in like 2008.
Oh, so it must have been like a Champions League game.
It was a big game. Yeah.
Oh, that's a huge game.
It was huge, yeah.
Yeah.
They didn't let people bring alcohol into or beer or anything into the stadium. I guess that was when I realized
it was in London, so it was at
London,
the what's Chelsea's stadium name? I'm forgetting it right now, but
yeah. That was big. And because in sports games in America, you could bring
I mean
that's part of
that's
part of it.
Yeah.
I guess in soccer they get too crazy,
too
wild.
Yeah, they get wild. They have these kind of fans called ultras.
Yep.
Like ultra fans, and
Yep.
they are absolutely. It's basically a gang affiliated with the football.
Oh, I see.
So they even have their own. Often, a lot of these clubs have their own section for the ultras, so that it's like you guys, you get your own spot.
Yeah.
Don't go past that. Do whatever you want there.
So let me ask you a question. You said you have a daughter 5, son 3,
Mm-hmm.
right? And your parents said if you're not a doctor, lawyer, or something else, don't even come knocking on my door.
Well, I'll say it this way. I wanted to be a pilot, and I'm not a pilot.
Gotcha. So for your own kids, right? What are you thinking? Are you raising them in a similar way that your parents did, or
I think, first of all, I have the benefit of being raised by my parents, that my parents didn't have the benefit of being raised by them. Does that make sense?
Okay.
So I'm thankful for that, right? So as much the structure and the push that they gave us individual, it was more so for us to be something, right? And they framed it in those particular professions, but they just wanted you to have a drive to execute, really.
So if you're an artist.
Well, so
you are an artist, I bet. Of course you are.
So let me say, for my own kids, I would encourage them to have or choose a path in education. If you're going to go down that route, that should you leave high school or leave college, that if you had to support your family, you could.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Now, it doesn't mean you can't do the other stuff, but knowing how much it costs to pay for school,
yeah,
you need to be able to, justify that cost, as well as if push came to shove and you had to take care of a family, that you could.
Yeah.
Now, you can make of that what you will.
Yeah, I got you.
But I think it's important because, again, our lived experience is that life throws you curveballs. It's not a smooth sailing.
Right.
And I would make the case that you can do a lot of things that have a college degree attached to them that you don't need a college degree to do.
Absolutely. It just means that you're able to complete something, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes that college degree. Yeah.
Exactly. So there are ways you can execute your passion without, and I'm trying to be careful about saying wasting. That's not what I mean. I don't know a better way to say.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah. There are ways to execute a passion without wasting a college degree financially and in terms of time as well, because the last thing you want to do is to waste 4, 5, 6 years and still owe the equivalent of 4, 5, 6 years of a college
exactly
degree. So that, I mean, so
if they don't become a doctor or lawyer, you're mad. No.
or engineer.
There you go.
No, I wouldn't be mad, but I'll just be mindful of that. And I would definitely support them in whatever they want to do, 100%. But trying to give them that insight to, you can do both. Just make sure you can secure yourself and your family or future family if push came to shove.
Last question.
Tell me.
What is something folks don't know about you that you've not said on here that might be interesting? I don't know.
I've said I'm a very proud Nigerian and Igbo man, but I haven't been back to my home country since I left.
Really?
Since 1996.
So and when were you born?
1988.
88. Wow. Gotcha.
So I haven't been back.
Why is that?
For various reasons. I think, and they're excuses and they're not good ones. But as a kid, we just never went back. And then when when I got to college, it was the transition. The transition was from Jamaica to here, and so home became Jamaica, right? So then to make the effort to go to Nigeria became like an extra thing you'd have to do, right?
Right.
And there's an attrition. There's something that happens that the longer you go away, the harder it is to go back anyway.
Yeah.
And it's a source of like internal strife for me. Like it hurts me that I haven't been there. And then I'm here on a visa.
Mm-hmm.
I'm here now, currently on a visa, and I'm mindful of the immigration challenges.
Yep.
And I'm terrified to leave my family here, and not be
like you said earlier.
Yeah, and not be able to come back. And that has been it's been that way throughout my training. So in medical school, in residency, in fellowship, I just never left because I didn't want to leave and come back and lose all of the progress that I've made thus far. And then two, once I got married, I got kids, it would break me if I went to Fort Lauderdale airport and the man said, "You go back to your country."
Yeah. No, that's actually a legit, I feel like, concern.
Yeah. And so that terrifies me.
Where's your wife from?
She's from here.
Gotcha. New Orleans?
She's from it's from Jeanerette, Louisiana.
Oh man, Jeanerette.
She's a Louisianan.
Gotcha. So you're not going too far.
Nah.
I got you.
She we met in college and we've been together.
Yeah,
since then.
good.
Yeah.
All right.
But yeah, thank you so much, man.
This has been great.
This is fantastic.
Absolutely.
We gotta have a follow-up soon.
Yeah, let's do that.
And I'm really honored that you were able to come sit with us today, and excited. Happy Father's Day, belated Father's Day. I didn't get to tell you yesterday. And I remember when one of our first interactions when you said, "Oh, we had a game." No. It wasn't our first interaction, but we're trying to figure out if you were coming to the game, and it was maybe a week before your son, second son, obviously, was going to be born. And we're like, "Yo, you coming?" And you're like, "Nah, man. My son is coming." It was a duty. I remember like how bright you were that day, and that really stuck out to me.
Wow.
So anyway, I appreciate you. You're a tremendous example.
Yeah.
So I'm a young man like myself.
Yeah.
Look up to you, and I'm excited.
Well, thank you, man.
Let us know can you tell the people how they can help contribute to Son of a Saint and to your efforts?
I mean, the easiest thing is to go to sonofasaint.org, and on our website has pretty much everything from volunteering to mentoring to writing financial contributions to buying snacks for our boys and send them to our office on Amazon. Whatever you think a teenage boy needs, just send it to our office. Mail it with a nice little note, and we'll get it to a boy, we'll get it to a family. So that's always the simplest thing, Could be a random thought that you have, send it, and we'll get it and get it to its right place.
Beautiful. Oh, I do have one more question.
What you got?
Would you ever start a school?
Never say never, but I've been asked that before, and I'm not really interested in that because I think we could do so much outside of those walls that are sort of non-traditional. I mean, we're so pretty 24/7. It feels like so in the support, and we work best with different types with kids from different backgrounds, different interests. So having them all in one, I don't want to like force our sort of ideals down on them. I guess in a way, it's kind of weird. It seems like you want me to start a school.
Well, the reason I thought about it because I meant to ask about it around the moving things in house, around that concept and how that was helping to eliminate some of the pain points. And that's really the only reason I was asking because. From an outsider looking in, and like you mentioned, a few people have asked you about this. You just feel like having a school, and it could be a non-traditional school, would be a natural part of that evolution. But
Yeah, maybe I was gonna say a joke, but I won't.
Hey, this is a spot.
No, no, I can't deal with them boys all day, every day.
That's fair.
Yeah,
you're not trying to be a principal.
No, I'm not trying to be a principal. No,
fair.
not at all. Well, we get our work done during the day as a staff to prepare for the boys. We have them at they come through at 3:00. Now, I mean, it's really 24/7, like I said. I mean, because we're at the schools and everything, but there's flexibility there.
Right. And that's important.
I mean? That's very, very important for us, is the flexibility, and that probably is another reason why.
That's fair. Sonny Lee.
Yes, sir.
You're a revelation. Thank you.
Oh man, I appreciate you, brother.
Yes, sir.
All right, that'll work.